Survivor's ready. Go!
Travis spoken.
This island is pretty much full of only two things: snakes and rats.
The fake dead grandmother could easily go down as the dirtiest thing ever to be done in this game.
I am the king, and I am back.
But I've got the $1 million check written already. I mean, I'm the winner.
The winner of the first Survivor competition is Rich.
Direct from Hobart, it's now time for the only dedicated radio show in Australia devoted to the hit TV show Survivor, bringing you the latest news and the biggest interviews from the king of reality television. It's Survivor Oz, and here's your host, Ben Waterworth.
Yes, hello everybody, and welcome once again to Survivor Oz, Australia's #1 TV and film podcast, as we come to you once again for a Juan Del Sur exit interview, the 6th contestant voted out from the 29th season, Dale Wentworth, about to bring him on the line for you to hear his thoughts on being voted out from last week's episode. Just before we bring Dale in, though, a reminder: if you are listening to this via iTunes or Stitcher, please go to survivoroz.com and find the Dale Wentworth exit interview, because we have a pretty comprehensive preview of tomorrow's episode. Noah writes it up, our Ozlet Noah extraordinaire, does a fantastic job, and you can see his thoughts on tomorrow's episode. Also, he's bringing in a new feature this week where he types out in order the people he believes can win, so from least likely to most likely to win. And of course, you can see video clips from last week's episode's hidden scenes, Dale's final words and voting, as well as Dale the next day, and a video preview of this week's episode. But right now, we are going to bring in the most recently booted contestant from Survivor, Juan Del Sur. Please welcome to Survivor Oz, Dale Wentworth. Dale, welcome to Survivor Oz.
Good afternoon or good morning. How are you today?
I am doing very well, mate, very well. How about yourself? How's the last week been? Recovered now from everything?
I'm recovered everything. Still, it's bringing everything back to the surface talking about it again, but it's fun.
I can imagine, but I mean, so close to the merge, I guess, would be one thing that has taken a bit to get over. I mean, how devastated were you after you were voted out to find out that you were that close to making the merge?
That is probably the worst thing of all. I mean, you know you're going to get voted out. There's only one winner, but just one piece of parchment paper is all that kept me from the merge, and that's the one that sleepless nights, to say the least.
I can imagine. I mean, early on Coyopa, we saw that you seemed to be an early target, but you worked your way into the tribe and soon found a way to shift the target on to Nadia. I mean, who did you find when that was happening was a person that really took you on board after kind of a few days that maybe weren't exactly easy for you?
Well, Josh and I got together on the first day, and then Rocker and I got together. So we had started working together in the very first couple days. Obviously, I wasn't surprised with the Baylor blind side on the first tribal council, but then after that, we started forming a little bit more of an alliance against Val. Some of the people just played a game that made him easier to vote off than everybody else. So like everything else on Survivor, everything is a work in progress, constantly changing.
Well, with that, I mean, pre-switch, it looked, from what we were seeing, that Josh was sort of controlling things on Coyopa. I mean, was this the case? Was there more to the tribal structure of Coyopa than we actually got to see?
Yeah, I don't know if Josh was really... Josh did have the benefit of... He had alliances, a lot of alliances working. I'll give him that. But in some regards, there were some people not starting to trust him, because you can't rely on a person's... He couldn't rely on his vote. And in the early part of the game, that's very... it's very dangerous. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out for him later on in the game.
Absolutely. We're looking to see how that will come together, particularly with the merge about to come up. I mean, for yourself, the switch came along. Kelly onto your side straight away. I mean, when you initially see that you're going to be playing with Kelly after the tribal switch, were you thrilled for this? Did you feel this was a little bit too early and this could maybe perhaps ruin your game where you were at the current moment?
I was extremely happy to play with my daughter for all of about 45 minutes. And then we started talking about what alliances we had left. And as soon as we got back to the beach after the merge or the swap, we found out that I had no friends and she had no friends, and neither one of us was to be happy in each other's presence. Because it was just, it was who was going to go 5 and who was going to go 6. Unless we swept immunity challenges, Kelly and I were gone.
We spoke to Kelly about this last week, about this situation after the switch and, the whole couples and everything that happened there. Was it super surprising then to have John and Jacqueline basically side with Baylor and Missy? And how do you think kind of that played out in your head in terms of why they went with them instead of you guys?
Well, John and Missy were pretty tight before the tribe swap. They had alliances working over there. It surprised me because Missy was John and Drew's ally, and then she swapped and voted Drew. So why John went to them, maybe they thought Missy and Baylor were a stronger couple with stronger alliances once the merge happened than what Kelly and I did. And in that regard, they were right. I have a lot of issues with their game, but the way they played it, they're playing better than I am because they're still there. So when the merge happened, Kelly and I probably would not have stuck with John and Jacqueline very long. Would have jumped to everybody else where our alliances were. So props to them. They did what they had to do to advance themselves. It just happened to be on Kelly and I's back.
Well, with the situation with Baylor, from what we see, were there any moments that you guys actually got along out there? Or was she just somebody that really you just couldn't work with no matter how hard you tried?
Baylor and I, from the very first day, she just didn't. I think I reminded her of one of her mom's ex-husbands because I tried to talk. I tried to talk to her on the first day, and she basically told me to get out of her. Well, she was not that mean. She just goes. I asked her about alliance, this and that. She goes, "No, I'm not interested, and I'll talk to you if I ever am."
Wow.
And that's other than that, in other general conversation, that's all Baylor and I talked about the game.
Wow.
And that was 3 hours from the time we hit the beach. She had nothing to do with me, and I never really put Baylor's name down but once. So it's just one of those oil and water didn't want to mix type things, I guess.
There's a few of those ex-husbands there, or ex-boyfriends, so, there's a few to choose from there, I think, if that's who you reminded of her of.
Yeah, there was, Baylor and Missy couldn't keep track of the actual count, but there could have been quite a few that I resembled, I guess. So, but we'll leave it at that.
Yes. After Kelly goes, you use a fake idol to try and get some leverage with John, of course. How close do you feel you were actually to getting him to sway to your side? And did you think of showing it to anybody else as well?
Well, I showed it to John for the simple fact that he had the least amount of knowledge of what happened around Calliope, if I had any clues or anything like that. So if I could sell it to him, maybe he could sell it stronger to the rest of the people on the Calliope. But, as soon as I showed it to him, I knew it'd go to everybody else. Did I think it was going to work? John might have believed it, but I don't think that Jacqueline and Baylor and Missy were going to. In the end, they split the vote just in case, and Keith was going to go if I happened to. But after I played it to him, within an hour, tribal, nobody's looking you in the face to walk around with a shamed dog look, type thing. And if you look at the actual watch of the vote, I picked my bags up and put them in my lap as soon as Jeff comes out, because I figured by then I was going home.
So, do you think there was anything else that you could have done to try and save yourself looking back, or was there really just nothing you could have done at that point?
The only thing the one vote that I might have done different, and I don't know if it would have saved me, was when we voted Val out. It was a tie vote, and I voted for Val. If I would have swapped my vote and voted for Baylor, Baylor would have gone home. But I did not have enough trust in the alliance of the young kids that I probably would have been voted out at the next council for disrupting Josh, Alec, Wes, Baylor, that little community of votes. And I might have gone home next. So who knows, 20/20 hindsight, it might have helped me. It might have put me out earlier in the game. So at the time, it was a good idea not to vote her out. So what can I say? It's other than having two idols in my pocket, to save Kelly for one and one for me. That's the only thing I think that could have saved me.
Classic what if scenario. Many things could have changed. Got a listener question I'll get to in a second. Also got our word association. But just before we get to those, had you survived last week, had, say, Keith gone home, sort of, as you just alluded to there, what would have been your plan right now as the merge came about?
After the merge, I felt comfortable. I could have worked with Josh. I had a good relationship with Wes. And then I could have picked up on the alliances that Kelly had worked on, just line up with the singles and that sort of stuff, the Jeremys, the Natalies, and trying to break up the couples. And if I could have made the merge, and Julie, she would have been over there. So there's a block of couples because, it's lining up. It's going to be couples against singles. And which couple happens to swing? Will Josh and Reed swing to the singles, or however it works out? But if Kelly and I, either one, could have made the merge, I think we could have made it pretty far in the game.
A lot of us were very much thinking that, and I think you probably might have seen a lot of the fan base that your daughter's got out there, Dale. She's got a very strong cult following on social media.
Yes, she does. She's impressed me. I couldn't be more proud of the way she played. Her birthday sumo challenge was just absolutely amazing because that was on her actual birthday.
Fantastic.
Like I said, the other thing and the night she got voted out, that was Father's Day. So that was best and worst.
I can imagine.
Rough and good days for me.
Yes. Actually, just quickly on social media, one of a lot of listener questions we did get in a lot. A lot of people questioned your Twitter handle, FarmerGuy69. Now, Dale, I have to ask, where did this come about?
Okay, I'm an avid motorcyclist. I've been riding motorcycles since, my dad got me a motorcycle when I was 5 years old, I think, and I got to ride it all that summer. The next year he put me to work on it around the farm. But on age 10, I got a motocross bike, and I raced in my first race. And I was born in 59, so that was year 69, the day I first raced my first motocross race.
There you go.
So you can put that to rest.
just we wanted to clear that up. And actually, the final one I'll get to here, we'll ask Quinton Phillipson's question. Quinton says, Dale was my favourite. My question, have you seen Baylor's music video, Sticky Situation, and would you say last episode you were in the biggest sticky situation on the tribe?
I'm proud to say I have not witnessed or watched or listened to Miss Bagel's music video. She's not my most favorite person, so I've got aversion to spoiled bagels and old muffins anymore, so I'm going to stay away from those.
You're missing out. There's cakes and food fights in it. If you ever change your mind, Dale, it's it's worth 3 minutes.
I'm pretty set in my ways, so I don't know if I'm going to be changing my mind soon.
Well, definitely let us know if you do, mate. Well, it's a pleasure to have you here on the show. Thank you very much for your time speaking with us. And we look forward to getting you back on the show perhaps after the season's over. We'll chat to you a little bit more about Survivor, but thanks for your time.
I hope so, and thank you very much.
And there you go, Dale. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing Dale heading out to the record store buying a copy of Baylor's CD or music anytime soon. Big thanks to CBS and Channel 9 once again for arranging that. And again, didn't get around to the word association. Of course, we do like to make sure that we get to your questions, that we do very much appreciate getting them sent in. So we only obviously get a certain amount of time with the people each week. So, excuse me, when the season comes over and we get them back on, we can ask a lot more. But the Twitter question that I just got to there, Oslet Noah, who I've already mentioned, of course, does our preview interviews. He made sure that I had to ask him that one, and I had a bunch of people on social media. Jordan Duncan sent in a question there, and a few other people sort of asking about the Twitter handle. So there you go. It's been put to rest why there's 69 in his name. Of course, at this point of an exit interview, I let you know that our coverage of San Juan del Sur continues. As always, this week we are going in to the 7th episode, which means another episode recap will be coming your way. And if you haven't already seen who we've got on this week, we are very much looking forward to having R.C. Saint Amour and her father coming on. Craig. Now, of course, Craig was a Survivor contestant that never was. He was meant to be on the 27th season, as was RC, but they had to pull out due to Craig not being all that well. So, we have got this organised to speak to Craig and RC, because we kind of feel that it's appropriate that they would have been a blood versus water couple, and we can kind of hear some of their plans and everything along those lines. And from what RC has been telling me, her father is a very interesting personality, very good guy, very fun guy. So this is kind of something a little bit different we thought we would try, and something that we hope you will enjoy. So that will be coming out this week. If you've got any questions for RC or her father, we will answer them. And generally I say keep them sort of on topic to the 29th season, but given this is sort of a special occasion, we probably will accept some questions relating to blood versus water as well, so we'll put them to them as well. Our Oz Topsy will be live 10:30pm Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time directly after the episode airing on Go tomorrow night. We will put a link up to where you can watch that live very, very soon. Also, our power rankings will be back next week. Troy, Zan and Sandra, we've just put out last week's, and you've obviously seen Sandra's very interesting comment. Sandra, to clarify, is not liking this season. If you have not seen her on social media, or you do not follow her on Facebook, she's called this a season that has destroyed Survivor. So, expect maybe Sandra's comments to not be too positive for the rest of the season when it comes to that. And also, we will have other coverage going along. Our next interview will be this time next week, so you can get your questions into the 7th person voted out of Survivor as the merge is coming along. Just a few other side things that I will take this opportunity to plug. Finally, our Cass interview was released yesterday. I apologise profusely for the time it took to get that out, but it is there. Enjoy it. 2.5 hours. Make sure you set aside a couple of hours to listen to it. I recommend it in one sitting because it is a very, very, very good, fun and revealing interview. And of course, just plugging shamelessly our spin-off shows, Big Brother Oz and The Amazing Race Oz. Big Brother Oz will be out today. Our next episode, 2012 Big Brother winner Ben Norris joining us once again to chat about a very big week in the Big Brother Australia house. We had not one, not two, but 3 evictions to talk about. So Kristen and I, at the time of recording this, are about to sit down, talk about that, and bring in Ben to talk about his thoughts as well. And speaking of Noah, Noah's the flavour of the month of this episode. Hi Noah, The Amazing Race Oz. That should also be out hopefully today, tomorrow at the latest. You can hear all the latest their thoughts on this week's the most recent episode, I should say, of the US Amazing Race. SurvivorOz.com is where you go to get all of these direct. You can read it. Top 10 out today. And, of course, everything else in between. Stay up to date with us on social media. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Subscribe to us on iTunes and Stitcher if you're listening to us on either of those services. Hello. Thank you for your support. Please subscribe to us if you haven't already. And, of course, please rate us on both services and leave us feedback. Now, it sounds like a broken down record every time I do say it, but it does help us on both those services, and we also do like to see your support and see what you say. Even if you absolutely hate our guts, just please tell us, give us 1 star, say you guys suck. Please, shut up, Ben. It still looks alright on our rankings, apparently. So get on there and check that out. That's it for the Dale Wentworth exit interview. Thank you for tuning in today. Until next we speak again, my name is Ben, the Tribe has spoken, and we will speak to you next time on The Trains.